Have you ever experienced nervousness before the week of racing, or in the staging area, or in the BMX racing, or right before the gate drops?
You absolutely
well, in this video, I'm going to give you guys some clarity on what mental toughness is, how you can improve it, and also what things that you guys can do. And in this video, for you to race talk about easier ways that you guys can identify with less nervousness, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Let's talk about it.
Like a pro.
Oh my goodness, man. You know what? Welcome back to another edition of BMX Coach Live. I am your host, three-time Olympic coach Greg Romero, and welcome. I'm so excited to be here. Please forgive me for the intro. That was absolutely horrific. That's totally on me. You know, I try to do an intro and I had two intros, you know, right on top of each other, and it just didn't make any sense. And you guys are like, what the hell are you guys talking about? Anyways, what I was trying to say was, at the end of the day, you know, listen, BMXers, in an effort to sustain success, experience success, and enjoy success, it's important for us to identify a performance program. You know, they say at the end of the day, we're only as good as the people around us. And when it comes to BMX racing, it is so tough because it's such an individual sport, is it not? I mean, I know there's teams and there's bike shop teams, factory teams, local teams, and whatnot. It's good to have those, but at the end of the day, when you get on the gate and you do your race, you're by yourself. And when you leave the race and you go back home, you're by yourself. At the end of the day, it's hard for us to get motivated, you know, as opposed to, you know, being a part of a professional organization, or even if it's high school, college, professional sports. They all have a team. They have a team of coaches. They have a team of assistant coaches, massage therapists, strength coaches, psychologists, chiropractors. And in this video, you know, I want to talk about how you guys can identify your team that's around you, which I call the personal performance program. Would you guys find that to be helpful for you? All right. Well, let's take a look and see what's going on in the live show. If you guys are watching this on the replay, let me know what you guys want to learn in future videos, but more importantly, make sure that you guys subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. That way you guys get notified when I go live or when I post videos. Let's see what's going on in the chat here. We have JP, Dylan, Jacob James, Sean A, T-Rom, Hot Rod. These guys say, hey, Greg, what's going on, guys? Listen, I am so grateful for the opportunity to be your coach and to be here with you guys today. And, you know, listen, you know, I want to give a shout out to a kid real quick. Let's see if I can find it. You know, there's a kid here. This kid here named Jack Cerny from Canada, 12-year-old expert ripper, and he's battling leukemia. And so I want all of you guys in the chat room right now, give Jack a thumbs up. Let him know that he's got this. Let him know that we're rooting for him. He's part of our team. He's part of the BMX family. And, you know, I think it's important that we give him the support that he wants, and more importantly, what he deserves, because man, he's doing such a good job fighting this leukemia, fighting this cancer. And, you know, if we give him some love healing vibrations that he can actually integrate into his body, into his physical being, his emotional being, his mental being. And of course, you know, if you guys are into it, his spiritual being. But if we could send him that love, send him that love healing vibration, I think it would be awesome. I think Jack would really appreciate that. And of course, you know, he's one of ours, man. We have to take care of our own. Cool. Yeah, a lot of guys in the chat room are saying, get it, Jack. Right on, buddy. Go, Jack. Jacob James says, kids lofting that jump. Hot Rod says, you got this, Jack. Right on, Jack. Cool. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate you guys. And Yeah, man, that's what it's all about. That's what this live show is all about. It's all about supporting each other. And to be transparent, that's another reason why I totally do this live show for free every week. It's almost like a free clinic on a Tuesday night. And really it's just to give back to you guys. And you know, at the end of the day, it's all about helping the newer and younger riders and guys that are struggling in our sport, or even riders that are doing well and they just want to do better, right? It's all about supporting each other. If we can all support each other, then the sport is going to continuously grow. Right now, we're hitting a really nice growth rate right now. The rumor has it that, here in San Diego BMX, Tyler Brown, veteran pro who's also the track operator, he's telling me that he's just hitting record numbers. The Chula Vista track is closed right now, but the track that he took over here in the middle of San Diego, it's not in Chula Vista, but it's in the middle of San Diego. They're doing awesome. And supposedly USA BMX is killing it with memberships. And here's the reason why. A lot of sports right now are shutting down. If it's a team sport, you can't play, right? If you're in high school sports, nothing's happening. If you're into soccer or, pee wee football or any of these sports, it's hard. So the only thing that's available right now is actually BMX racing. So we're actually kind of coming back full circle. Back in the 80s, a lot of you guys that are in the chat room, man, there's really only two things that you could do back then if you weren't into organized sports. You either ride skateboards or you rode and raced BMX bikes. We didn't really have the internet. Well, we didn't have the internet at all, but it wasn't, the internet was there, but it wasn't available to the public. So therefore, we didn't even know it existed. And video games weren't really a thing then. It was very, very underdeveloped. So there wasn't many distractions for us. And so it's crazy with COVID. It's such a great opportunity for us to bring in new riders. And at the same time, you guys, us, myself, as a family, let's help out these newer riders and get them excited about the sport. It's just awesome when you show up to the track and the more people that are there, the more excitement there is, there's more energy out there. So that's one of the reasons why.
My apologies. I couldn't hear what you said.
No, Siri on my phone's talking. Please forgive me. At the end of the day, that's what we're here for. We're here to just give back to the sport and help the sport grow and get stoked out on the local scene. Anyways, that being said, whether you're a beginner, intermediate, expert, a professional, whether you're successful or you're struggling, I want to share with you guys some of the coaching that I used to do for my Olympic athletes, right? And even today, my winner circle athletes, is helping them identify their own personal performance program. BMX is so tough because it's such an individual sport and it can get lonely, and sometimes we lose motivation and it's hard to lean on someone to get excited about, going out and doing hard work when no one's watching, right? Like doing sprints, like doing any kind of conditioning, doing intervals, working on your manuals, right? Things that you could work on at home. We love going to the track, but there's only so much we could do at the track. So I think it's important for you guys to identify a personal performance program. That way you guys can get stoked, okay? Let's see here. Can we talk about it? And then I'm going to share with you a program that I did with Jill Kittner, who was the first American to win an Olympic medal back in 2008 when I was coaching her. So let's talk about a personal performance program. Now, this is not to be confused with like a training plan. This is pretty much a bird's eye view of who are the people that surround you, right? So, I'll talk about, like, for example, when I was a kid, I was an 8-year-old kid, and really at the end of the day, it was just my mom, my dad, okay? I had a bike, I had a track, and I had local kids to ride around. That was pretty much my program, those three basic components. My parents who supported me financially, I had a bicycle, I had equipment, I had a track, I had an environment, and then I had, the local high school that I lived across the street with, and I can ride with my other friends and sprint with these guys and have a lot of fun. That was pretty much a basic rudimentary program. And I would say, most BMXers are starting out that way. But you're going to find that at the end of the day, we're only as good as the people we surround ourselves with. And so, again, I want to be able to identify and help you identify a personal performance program that works for you. As I mentioned in the beginning, a BMX personal performance program is basically identifying all the resources that will enable you to achieve the goals that you want, right? So, for example, Olympic rider has a huge team surrounding them in an effort for them to operate and perform at their best, right? These guys have coaches, technical coaches, strength coaches, psychologists, massage therapists, physical therapists, okay? They have family, they have friends, they have equipment, they have training environments, all right? That's like 10 things I already identified of a 10 components I have already identified surrounding an individual athlete, right? If you were a high school football player, an ice hockey, junior player, or a professional sport, or you're involved in college or professional sports, you pretty much just walk into the program and they're giving you everything. Now, you might have stuff outside of that program, and that, of course, that's going to be friends and family and, your home environment. And those are really the three things you need to maintain. Of course, you need to maintain a relationship with everyone within that program. But as an individual, there's so many different responsibilities, and we're going to discuss that. And I think it's really, really important. And I think it's going to help you guys, more importantly, give you clarity in what you're doing on your journey of wanting to experience success. I imagine you guys are here. The guys that are here, you guys want to experience success. You guys want to get better, do you not? Give me a thumbs up if you guys want to get better. All right. Let me know. Let me know. So, again, personal performance program. Why is it important? Well, at the end of the day, again, it could be lonely. It could be lonely if you don't identify what you got. You need advisors, right? More importantly, you need advisors. You need someone that can listen to you, someone that you could talk to, someone that can give you feedback. And it's helpful to know, right, that you have people supporting you. It's really helpful to know that, because if you don't recognize that you have a team around you, that if you go in and say, you know what, I don't have a team around me, irregardless, even if you're not on a BMX team, you still have a team, and it's important for you to identify that and write that down. And that way you could operate out of a state of abundance. I know that sounds ridiculous, but again, it's so hard, man. It's especially you parents watching this. As a young kid, it was hard for me between the ages of like 8 and 13, because it was like I felt like I was alone, right? I had family, I had this, but if I can identify as a young kid, hey, who's my team? Who can I lean against? Who can I have someone serve as an advisor, right? It's important, by identifying each one, we can gain confidence just by simply showing what everyone does for you, right? Like, it's important to know what everyone does for you. And then you can start compartmentalizing it. So here's the thing, man. Like, having a team is very encouraging. It's inspiring. It's motivating. And more importantly, when you get on the gate, sometimes it gets old doing it for yourself, right? Doing it for your goals. And having a team that you identify that helps you, you start to realize that, man, you know what? It's not about me. I'm doing it for my team. Just as much as a quarterback is doing it for his team. Just as much as a pitcher on the mound is doing it for his team. He's not just doing it for himself. He's doing it for others. And when it comes to BMX performance, it's important to transcend yourself. It's important to transcend the ego. I have a quote in one of my favorite books I've been reading. You guys should check it out. Called Peak Performance by Steve Magnus and Brad Stulberg. Okay. Such a good book. I was listening to this in an audible form, and I actually recently picked up I loved it so much I needed to pick up the hard copy. And there's actually a chapter in here. It's great. It's called Transcending the Self, right? And I want to read something that they said here. They said, this is in terms of the ego. A large part of our ego's role is to literally protect ourselves. It is our ego that tells us to shut down and flee when we're faced with threats. When we transcend ourselves and minimize our ego, however, we can overcome the fears, anxieties, and physiological protective mechanisms that so often hold us back from achieving major breakthroughs. So when you could transcend the ego, a whole new realm of possibilities emerges. And that's the thing. When we're on the gate and we're doing it for ourselves, we tend to operate in a fight or flight state, a mindset and a state, right? Because, oh man, I'm doing it for myself. And you know what? Maybe I don't matter. So you know what? I'm just not going to give it my all. Best performances come out of those that are able to transcend themselves and do it for others, right? It's another thing that I do with my winner circle athletes. When we do goal setting, I ask them, who are you doing this for? Is it for you? Is it for others? What is it? What is it for? We contextualize it, meaning, is it more than yourself? And if it is, let's identify that. Because I think it's important. Again, it's BMX is really, it's such a tough sport. You're doing it by yourself, man. You're not handing a football off. You're not passing the puck to someone else that can score the goal for you. You got to win. You got to execute. So I think it's important for you guys to identify it. That's a really huge reason why this is important, so you could transcend yourself. And more importantly, again, transcend yourself. Have a bunch of advisors that you can lean on. Someone that can listen to you. Someone that can guide you. Someone that can give you advice when you need it. Someone can keep you in check when you need it, right? Keep yourself in check. And someone that can enable you to keep you motivated and inspired, right? I think it's important. Now, how do we do this? How do we do this? Well, number one, I think here's a little template. Here's something I use when I was doing work with Red Bull here. This is Jill Kittner's plan. Please forgive me, it's not big here. But, what I have here, it's kind of color coded. But at the bottom here, you see this one right here. It's red. It says high performance. We're going to chunk down. I'm going to show you what high performance is. That's going to be pretty much like what's involved in, the strategy of her training performance program. Okay. But you see in the green here, there's her coach. She has a couple sponsors, Red Bull, GT Bicycles. Top right here, this yellow one, that's the United States Olympic Committee, or please forgive me, that's actually USAC, USA Cycling, the USOC, who's an Olympic committee that she gets support from, and then her family. So right here, in terms of the personal performance program, number one, you want to put yourself in the middle, and then take these circles and like satellites and put them around you. And these you're going to identify these as people that actually support you. So it could be, family, sponsors, coaches, and then of course, put the high performance in there, and then we'll chunk down and we'll identify what's involved in the high performance program. But in terms of the personal performance program, it's simply just identifying the people and the groups that support you. Okay. You may find you only have one, right? Maybe it's your family. Of course, you're going to have the high performance. So you're going to have two cogs, but most people might only have two or three, and that's totally okay. The bigger the deal that you become, the higher you ascend into the sport, whether you go on from beginner intermediate all the way to a top expert that's traveling and going to the world championships, then you're going to find that you're going to add more supportive cast, right? These supportive cogs. And I think it's really important that you guys take the time to identify this and, put it on your bedroom wall, right? I think it's important for you guys to understand it and are easily reminded that you're not just doing it for yourself. You're doing it for other people that support you. And it's helpful to identify and work with those people that support you, because they're going to give you energy. They're going to support you. You're going to transcend yourself when you go out to the track. You're going to be like, man, I'm not only doing it for myself. Listen, man, I've had some of my best performances. Man, I tell you what, I've won a lot of races, right? Like majority of you guys know, I've said this 100 times. I've won over 100 professional races. And man, let me tell you, anytime that I was able to realize that I'm doing it for others, I'm doing it for my family, I'm doing it for one that's sick, I'm doing it for my sponsors that are just bending over backwards to help me out with everything and anything I need. I'm operating out of I'm operating out of a state and frequency of gratitude. Okay, that's putting me into a relaxed state. I'm transcending the ego, so I'm a little bit more relaxed. I'm able to perform, man. I'm doing it for them. I'm not doing it for me anymore. And let me tell you, I would say out of all the times that I've won, 99% of the time, I've done it in spite of myself. I was doing it for others, straight up. Just as much who's doing it for their kids and their wife and their family, they're waking up for them. They're waking up for their family. They're not doing it for themselves. Now, don't get me wrong. I think it's important to do it for yourself, but for the most part, they're transcending themselves. You know, a lot of you parents out there that are watching this, give me a thumbs up if that's true. When you have kids, it changes your life, right? It's not about you. It's not about yourself. You know, it's kind of time to grow up, but more importantly, that energy is like stronger than motivation, right? It's like ambition. And so, you know, it's hard for a kid to, reach the level of ambition. Matt McCluce gives me a thumbs up. He gets it. All right. So I think at the end of the day, here's some key things. I took some notes here. When it comes to identifying this, it's important for athletes to maintain communication with all these cogs, right? All these resources. That's something that you have to do. It's a daily, if not, it's a weekly task, right? Pick up the phone, reply to text messages, reply to emails, send out emails. Anything that you need or want, don't be afraid to communicate it, okay? Get past the fear of rejection, right? There's so many kids that are just like, they have this fear of rejection, like, oh, you know what, they may say no, I don't know. You know what? Communicate with them, okay? Communicate with them. Another note I have here is that, let's see here. Athletes want to identify these resources to help fast track them to success. Okay. So listen, if you guys can afford it, hire a coach. Identify your sponsors, right? And more importantly, don't hire somebody or bring someone on your team so you can blame them for your lack of fulfillment of your expectations. Okay. So hire people to help you. And, at the end of the day, you're not going to regret it. Really, truly. And then, here at the bottom here. So if you guys look in the red here, I have high performance. So let's chunk down a little bit and get into what the high performance looks like. Cause I know you guys are into training, you guys are into performance, and, let me kind of scroll this down here. There we go. That looks good. Now you see over here on the left, that's what I just showed you. That was this top left-hand corner here. That was this. Okay. And then if we pick one of the red cogs, look, you guys could, niche down a little bit, if you will, and then identify the different performance cogs. And I can't see this because it's really small on my monitor here, but I have one on the big screen here. And so let's start with the top right where it's yellow, psychological. So Jill here, and I helped her out in terms of what she's trying to work on, like what are some of the bullet points in terms of the psychological. And it says here, mental prep, tactical race mindset, working on some fear factors. Okay. Moving over to the right, which is going to be, 3 o'clock on the screen. This cog, nutritional, energy, body composition, and an eating plan. And of course, she's going to listen. I'm not a registered nutritionist, so we worked with one out of the Olympic Committee and had a nutritionist work with Jill. If we go down to say 5 o'clock, it says recovery. Over here, pre post training techniques as it pertains to recovery, stretching, nutrition, massage, chiropractic work. And then if we move over to the bottom around the 6 to 7 o'clock position, we talk about equipment. And it says here service program. So basically, identifying a mechanic that can service her bikes. How often do her bikes need to be serviced? How many bikes do we need, right? I think for her, I think we had 3 bikes. All my Olympians had 3 bikes. We always had 3 bikes, and they're all identical. We weren't playing games. It says here, she wanted to test some wheels, probably some wheel sizes, testing out gearing and crank sizes. And then we move over to, say, the 8 o'clock position, this green cog that says tracks, training environment. I think it's important for you guys to identify your resources, right? Like, identify your training environment, okay? Optimize it. I've had clients where they have training environments, but they're not good. Sometimes they're not good. Maybe perhaps they're beefing with the local track operator, or maybe they're beefing with a USAC, a USA cycling official, right? Those are relationships within the environment that they got to maintain, right? If there's issues, you got to fix it. You want your training environment to be positive. Over here, we have facility of Olympic elements, including start, hill, and jump. So back in 2008, there was only the Beijing track. There was only one track over at Chula Vista. And really at the end of the day, it was, if I can recall back then, it was all about her getting familiar and getting repetition on the big hill. There wasn't many big hills back then. There was only one that existed 12 years ago when the Olympics were, first born back in 2008. There was only one track in North America, and we would have a lot of people all over the world that were coming in and training with us. But yeah, I would say at the end of the day, you got to maintain the relationship of the training environment, especially the tracks. I know at the local level, there could be drama from time to time, and I think it's important that riders maintain a good relationship with the person that is, excuse me, taking your money for practice or racing. I've always made it a point to reach out to any track operator, either before or during when I show up, and just let them know, hey, thank you so much for having this track, number one, but more importantly, inviting me or whatever, or allowing us to ride. Awesome track, keep up the good work, maintain that relationship, build rapport with the people that are running the track. It goes a long way. You never know when you need a favor, man. You don't want to get on the bad side of anyone operating a track. Listen, these guys have egos. They will blackball you. This goes with anything, man. This goes with guys at USA Cycling, people that are sponsors running teams, team managers, manufacturers. Listen, man, I've been in the sport a long time. All these guys have egos. So I think it's really important for you guys to just, I hate to say it, but tell them what they need to hear, right? Hey, thank you so much. I'm really grateful, and really operate from the heart. You don't need to have the ego talking to ego. Have your heart talk to their heart. And so I know this sounds esoteric, but really that's just where I'm at in life, man. It's all about operating the vibration of the heart. And so, come from the heart, be grateful and operate from that vibrational frequency, man. And man, they'll really appreciate you. They'll be like, yeah, you know what, man, Jack, man, he's such a positive kid. He's always grateful, always thankful. You know what? Let's support him. Let's cheer him. Let's ask him. He's going to the World Championships. What does he need? Like, you never know, man. If you're running a GoFundMe or some kind of campaign, or you need to raise some money, dude, these guys are not going to hesitate to help you. So go out of the way, help them, give them props, express gratitude. It goes a long ways, man. Trust me. I've been on both sides of that coin. And then of course, let's keep moving forward here. The 10 o'clock position over here says bike skills. So Jill over here, she was identifying what bike skills that she would love to work on. Of course, here she says jumping. Okay, and she was racing the Supercross track series, right? The UCI Supercross World Cup series, and jumping was a big deal, man. I mean, they were just throwing these girls. The first straight was pretty much a pro section right out of the gate. And so jumping, doing gates, working on her acceleration, her ability to repeat, her repeatability, cornering and passing is something else that she wanted to identify as things that she wants to improve on as it pertains to her bike skills, which also fall under high performance. Okay. Last but not least, physiological. Her physiological component here, of course, we're covering strength, we're covering power, core, flexibility, gym technique. Really, really simple stuff. All right. Cool. Well, as it pertains to your personal performance program, high performance or not, what questions do you guys have? Roscoe H gives me a thumbs up, or he's giving someone else a thumbs up. All right. I think at the end of the day, this might not be a topic that's really popular, but I think really at the end of the day, if you guys, again, there's so many different benefits of you guys identifying your personal performance program. Okay, that's this one here. Identifying your resources, right? Like, what resources do you have? Because if you can identify what resources you have, then you can go ahead and ask the question, well, what resources do I need in an effort to accomplish my goals? In an effort to identify what you need to realize what you have. And also, to identify this is very, very empowering, right? It's very, very empowering. It makes you realize you actually have more than you thought. That's what's key. So you have this personal performance program. Actually, that's this one right here. Again, identifying all the resources, the sponsors, any coaches, right? Your family. It's super helpful, man. I'm telling you, it sounds really rudimentary, but trust me, if the Olympians are doing it, you need to do it too. And then, of course, moving forward to identifying what's involved in your high performance program, that cog, and figuring out the physiological component. What is it you need? What is it you have? And also, what is it that you need? Psychologically, what is it you have? And then what is it you need? Nutritional, what is it you have? What is it you need? Recovery, are you integrating techniques? What are you doing now for recovery? And what is it that you need for recovery? Maybe it's you need a foam roller. Maybe you need massage therapist. Maybe you need to stock your house or your gear bag with water. Maybe you need to schedule a chiropractic, bi-monthly. All right. Maybe you need to work on your nutrition. I don't know. Do you have nutrition for recovery? All right. Did you show up to the track with proper recovery nutrition? Equipment. What do you need? Right? What do you need? Your training environment. Okay. Not only the tracks, but are you identifying locations? Are you identifying a nice, safe, bicycle-friendly sprinting location? Are you identifying a gym location that you could do gym work? Maybe perhaps you're going on the road and you need to do a workout the week of the race. And, are you able to identify a gym near the track that you can go to? When we travel to the World Cups, the week of the race, believe it or not, my Olympic athletes, we train the week of the race, right? And so we have to identify where's the gym. It's part of the work. You guys, at the end of the day, we're doing this because you have to manage yourself, man. At the end of the day, no one else is going to do it for you. Bike skills. What is it that you have to enable you to achieve your goals? But more importantly, what is it that you need? Identify those. All right. Physiological, did we cover that? Identify your strengths and weaknesses. What is it you have physiologically that's helping you, right? In an effort to achieve your goals. What is that you need in an effort to go to the next level, in an effort to help you achieve your goals? In the chat room, what questions do you guys have? Kale Thomas, is all this outlined in your training program packages? No, because at the end of the day, the training program really is just one cog, right? It's the high performance cog. But if you work with me one-on-one, like my Winner Circle mentees, we identify what resources we have, and then we go ahead and identify the resources that we don't have. And it's very helpful because sometimes they don't realize all this abundance of what they have. They were never asked that. Hey man, what resources do you have? And man, they break it down like, dude, I got a bike, I got a helmet, I got family, I got a coach, I got training tools, I got teammates, I got tracks, I got a portable starting gate or not. And all of a sudden they realize, you know what, man, I have all these awesome resources. You could easily do this yourself, Kale. What resources do you have to achieve the goal that you want? Right? Write it all down. Next, what resources do you need or you feel you need to help you achieve the goal that you want? And that's the thing, you need goals, right? Like goals are really key here. And really that goals in itself could be a cog within the high performance, but for Jill, we actually had a separate goal sheet. But yeah, thank you for the question. Matt Johnson says, here a little late, reading bedtime story to my youngest. Okay, cool, right on. Take care of your family, Matt. That's awesome. Matt McClue, I think that the personal performance plan is something that we need for both on and off the track. So many things off the track that can have an impact on the track as well. Yes, man, absolutely, 100%. Dragon says he can't stay and watch, but I always love the content. Just check it out on the replay. Okay, here we go. We got questions coming in from, let's see, Jacob James. All right, Jacob, you have a question. I think we're going to leave that to the Ask Coach G section. Again, we're talking about all things BMX, personal performance, identification. Any questions? If you guys don't have questions, I think it's pretty straightforward, and I think we should be able to move on to the next phase of the show. How are you guys doing tonight? Are you guys finding this helpful? You guys find this helpful? Let me know. All right, guys, I say that we move forward. I'll take a look at some of these questions. Let's see here. Hold on. Danny Booby says, I see the biggest problem is young kids being honest with themselves and their peers. Some are worried about what others think. Yeah, I think at the end of the day, that's a psychological component, right? Like sometimes you need to get over the fear of rejection, right? That's just a fear of rejection. And I would say that falls underneath the psychological component of one's high performance program. JP says, usually what is the resources our athletes are most lacking? Yeah, that's a good one. I would say just identifying the resources itself. One of the biggest problems, JP, for full disclosure, working with my Olympic athletes, number one, they're all human, right? We're all human. And one of the things that gets the best of them is seeing others, is comparing themselves to others, right? Like, oh man, like they're getting these sponsors, they're getting this money, they're getting this attention from, the director of USA Cycling, they're getting selected, they're, like, that's one of the biggest problems. And I would say that's probably a psychological resource, right? Like I would say the psychological component at the highest level is one that cannot be addressed enough. And I would say, as I'm moving forward and I'm helping out more riders that are not Olympic athletes, helping out helping these like young kids, under the age of 12, all over the world, in the United States and all over the world, just helping them out with some of the psychological stuff that I work with my Olympic athletes is enabling them to be empowered right away. Yes, and at the end of the day, getting them to understand what they have, and that way they're not deleting for things and looking for things that they don't have, right? Because once here's the thing, we're always looking for a way out, right? Like, and hear me out for a second what that means. And some of these kids can identify sometimes, and it's rare. Listen, like, you ever showed up to a track and it's like, a race, and then, it starts to rain, and maybe you're like, oh man, there's a part of you that's like, you know what, I don't have to race, man. If it rains, I kind of want it to rain. And it's like, it lets their guard down. And what's the point of that, you may ask? Well, at the end of the day, there's no more pressure, right? There's no more pressure to perform. And so, at the end of the day, that's one of the biggest things that not only the local kid is dealing with, but these Olympic athletes are dealing with the pressure to perform. And when they're dealing with the pressure to perform, they're kind of in this fight or flight mode, and always looking for, things to delete for or look for threats. So when you're looking for threats, you're looking for reasons, right? You're comparing yourself to someone to justify and validate what you believe is true, which is perhaps that you just don't have what it takes to perform under pressure. The guys that can compartmentalize all this and keep it organized emotionally and mentally, and understand that they have all these resources that are working for them, not against them, and they can focus on and have the ability to focus on their own personal performance program, those are the guys that are going to give themselves the best chance to perform. And really, at the end of the day, that's all I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to help you guys with this model to give yourself the best chance to perform. Gary says, wish you were doing this 15 years ago. I was, man. I just wasn't doing it online. Kel Thomas says, yes, coach, this is good stuff. Homework for me. I'm going to make a list of my resources. Dude, thank you. You made my day. I only needed to hear it from one person. If I can help out one person with this, man, then it's huge, right? I think it's important. You guys got to identify your resources, because if you can identify what you have, then you can identify what you don't have. And then when you identify what you don't have, then you can figure out ways to fulfill that. And then once you have everything filled out, then it's like, dude, you got tunnel vision, man. You're down the path and you're doing work. And you're not worried about what other people are doing. You have your program down on lock, right? And at the end of the day, that's what you're trying to do. You're just trying to get yourself to relax and say, you know what? I got a team. I got support. I have advisors. I have guidance. I'm abundant. I got all kinds of things working for me. I have more things working for me as opposed to against me. Sorry, let me get my face in the screen here, right? You got more things working for you rather than against you. And at the end of the day, man, that's really the message I'm trying to give you guys. And it's so hard for athletes because, dude, we're like soldiers, right? Like we're soldiers. We're like MMA fighters, man. We're going into the ring. We're going into the gate by ourselves. We need all the emotional and mental support that we can get. When that gate drops, it's no different than the bell going off in a fight with somebody, in an MMA fight, right? You're vulnerable. So if you don't know who's helping you, how are you going to have the confidence to perform straight up, right? How are you going to be able to transcend yourself to perform? How are you going to get over The ego that's always deleting and distorting, and but more importantly, always deleting for things that are threats, putting you in fight or flight mode, getting you to overthink. If you can figure out what you have, feel good about it, work with these resources, it's huge, right? I think it's huge for a 12-year-old kid to just identify, hey man, I got a bike, I got family that supports me. Dude, that's all I need. That is huge macro abstract thinking just by simply identifying what you guys got. All right, guys, let's move forward. I want to move forward and answer a few questions. We got 15 minutes left. Let's move on to the Ask Coach G section. I want you guys to ask your best questions as it pertains to a personal performance program or not. If you guys want to talk about anything else, this is your chance to do it. We will get to that right after the break. Hey guys, I have a question. What would it do for you if you could enhance your power out of the gate, enhance your sprint speed down the first straight, enhance your skills, enhance your mental performance mind state? What would that do for your racing or your kids' racing? If you're seeing the value of enhancing your BMX performance, consider joining the community of BMX Training Pro and get the same access my Olympic athletes have enjoyed, as well as thousands of BMXers all over the world. Some members use the access to improve their gate start techniques. Some also use the access to keep them motivated to train, and you'll find your reason when you gain access and join BMX Training Pro today.
Stay focused, get ready now. For real, get ready now.
Nitro with the nice flow.
Stay focused, get ready now. For real, get ready now. Let's go. Stay focused, hear the heat come. Concentrate to the sound of the beat drum. Yeah. Start it up, take it back now. Check it out. This is how it's going down. Yeah.
All right, guys, let's, got feedback. Let's answer some questions, man. What do you say? All right, so Jacob James says, Coach, why is my lower back giving me pain on the class bike during gate night versus the cruiser and no lower back pain? I started working in some back extensions to help strengthen. Thank you. Man, I don't know. I mean, I have no idea, you know. I'm not a lower back specialist, but I would say this. Number one, I would see a chiropractor, right? Perhaps a chiropractor could be someone that you could add to your personal performance team. Make them a cog, right? And I would say, you know, at the end of the day, when it comes to back issues, here's the thing. Working on the core is key, especially in BMX. You guys really, really need a strong core, especially coming out of the gate. You know, that's pretty much the transmission between the hands and the feet. And so, yeah, man, you got to work on the core. Everything's moving through the hips, right? Your pedal strokes are pretty much huge hip extensions, right? And what's supporting that? Your core. It's not so much your lower back as much as you think. There's an imbalance there. So work on your core, man. I have all my athletes, they work on their core once or twice a week. Jacob James says, I appreciate you allowing us to ask general questions. Thank you, Greg. Yeah, man, I love it. This is my favorite part of the show. It's just, you guys ask questions and I do my best to answer them in a live show. It's crazy, right? It's awesome. Jake Jensen, I'm trying to create a workout schedule. Any advice on what to do? What? He says, example, how often, what days should I lift, do sprints, do plyometrics? Man, dude, that's a lot. Let's see here. I do have something here. This is actually kind of this is from a video. Let me kind of fix this video here. I had to update my streaming software, and for some reason it like blew out the camera size. But I'm going to show you something really cool here. And this one's actually for an elite rider, and I think this will work for pretty much any rider here. Thank you for your patience, guys. Trust me, you're gonna like this. You'll appreciate this. All right, here we go. All right. Geez, can I see that? Can you guys see that? Anyways, that is a sample of a weekly template of training for an elite rider, right? Now, on the first day, you could see that, okay, so you see here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then there's 2 rows. There's 2 workouts per day. The morning is going to be in blue because it's, that represents the morning. It's the blue sky came out. And perhaps the second workout could be done in the evening or maybe even in the afternoon, and that's going to be in gray just below. So if you look at here, Monday, sprints, gym. Tuesday, rest. And what does it say? Track. And then Wednesday, recovery, the entire day off. Yeah, man, you could easily follow a template like this. I can't tell you like what exactly you need to do, but I think it's helpful for you to understand and identify, how you can organize workouts for the week. All right. And this is something really cool here. Let me see if I can blow this up. I'll end up covering my face, but that's okay. Ta-da. All right, so, here's a great example. Okay, and I'll give you some reasons why. It's weird not being able to see my face, but maybe we can do something like that. I'm getting good at this. All right, so you got sprints, you got gym on Monday, and here's the thing. If you notice Sunday, day off, you want to go in fresh for sprints. I think that's key if you guys can go at least one sprint session during the week. Go in fresh, and that way you guys can program neurologically end on the highest note, right? That's the whole key with sprinting. And we're presupposing that you're working on like absolute power and delivery of power. Go into the sprint session fresh at least once, right? And then you're going to see on Friday there's another sprint session, or even on Thursday there's one on Thursday and there's one on Friday, and those are going to be 2 different ones. Perhaps this is for an elite rider, so this might be a little bit much, but at the end of the day, I don't see why you guys couldn't do any of this. Now, in terms of the volume of work, what exercises you need to do, listen, I think it just might be easier for you to just check out a 2-day free trial over at bmxtraining.com. Check out the training programs in there. I don't care. Go in there and screenshot stuff. All right. Get a free membership, screenshot stuff. Or if you're finding that these live videos are being helpful, then maybe perhaps you want to support me and you guys want more help, then become a member of bmxtraining.com. Become a member of BMX Training Pro. Check it out. There's a lot more stuff in there that will, again, getting somebody, maybe perhaps you make one of these cogs, BMX Training Pro, part of your high performance program, there's a reason why it's helpful to have a coach and a team of advisors. That way you don't waste time trying to figure this stuff out, right? You have an advisor, you ask them what you need to do, and then it's like, cool, I trust them, I like them, I know them, I trust them, and I'm just going to do it. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time online doing research or, asking 100 different people, right? Find someone that you could trust, hire them, jump into bmxtraining.com, make that become a key cog in your high performance program. That way you guys don't waste a whole lot of time. Wasting time, and time is a resource that we cannot get back. And there's an opportunity cost when we're trying to figure this out. Especially as an amateur, it's helpful to find professional help. Don't hire an amateur to get professional results. Hire a professional to get professional results. But yeah, I would say, again, if you're a do-it-yourselfer, a lot of you guys are, screenshot this, figure it out, right? There's your frequency right there. Lots of rest, lots of time between, in the beginning, and then boom. 2 full days of rest, Wednesday and Sunday. Going hard in the paint, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Starting the week off fresh, doing sprints, gym, and some track, Monday, Tuesday. All right? That's how we do it. That is how we do it. Hopefully that helps. All right, what other questions do we have? David Fernandez, do you think power cleans are a great way to become more explosive? Yes, absolutely. And let's talk about the benefit of a power clean, because this is something, glad you brought this up. This is something that a lot of people get confused on. Number one, power cleans is pretty much, it's an Olympic sport and it's an Olympic movement that competitors have to do. Now, the benefit as it pertains to BMX is that the true benefit is that you're working on the triple extension of the hip, knee, and ankle joints and the muscles surrounding those joints. When we're coming out of the gate, we're extending from the hip through the knee, through the ankle. Okay, just a big bam. And so that full extension, once you're done with the second pull, if you're doing a clean from the ground, there's two pulls, right? There's the first pull, right, which is pretty much between the ankles up to the kneecaps. Once the bar moves past the kneecaps, then you have what is called the second pull. That second pull, extending the hips all the way through the knees and the ankles, that's the most beneficial part. That's the meat and potatoes of that movement that's going to transfer and help you as it pertains to specific neurological power that you're trying to program to help you with the acceleration and power out of the gate. After that, right, if you want to, you want to rack it, right, in a front squat position, you can. I think there's some benefit to that. It's crazy. A lot of my women Olympic athletes, they're awesome, man. They're so flexible. They have better technique than all my male athletes. All the male athletes, I just have them throw the weight down. You're done. We obviously we're lifting with rubber bumper weights, but once they get past that extension, right, it's like you're done. I don't care what you do with the weight. Don't even bother trying to catch it. You guys don't have the form of some of my top women athletes. But at the end of the day, that's the benefit. So yes, power cleans are beneficial. Anything that's a triple extension, whether it's a plyometric, there's a triple extension through that, right? A power clean. A squat is a triple extension exercise. Now, you might not extend with a lot of power, but perhaps it's a good way to work on the force component of power. Again, when it comes to power, the limiting factor is strength, it's force. Okay. I love power cleans because it works in that sweet spot of rate of force development, right? Which is pretty much like working on the speed of discharge, raw power. And, this, if the weight's too heavy, it's hard to do a power clean. So it needs to be relative. You got to move it really fast in an effort to get the velocity and be able to get underneath the bar, right? And so it's such a great RFD exercise, which is pretty much the same thing that we're trying to do when we're coming out of the gate. It's specific rate of force development. Great exercise, great question. Thank you very much. Here we go. Danny Booby from Australia. Some of my team riders are hitting the 15 to 17 age and are starting to ride the 8 meters Supercross starting hill. We have 3 guys and 1 girl. They are all second guessing themselves. Any tips on mindset? Yeah, like how do you know that they're second guessing themselves? What are they doing? Are they hesitant? Are they sitting on the hill and overthinking it? And then for what purpose are they doing that? Now, I ask these questions because we don't want to mind read, but I'll use some examples because I've worked with, younger junior riders doing camps on behalf of USA Cycling over at the Olympic Training Center, working with 15, 16, 17-year-olds just like yourself, Danny. And yes, they will spend a lot of time on the starting hill. And one of the reasons is they're just straight up intimidated, right? It's a lot of speed without a whole lot of effort, right? There's a whole lot of free speed going down that hill. And then that first jump is like, it's a huge kicker and you're hitting it fast. And it's intimidating when you're looking at it from a bird's eye view. It's like, whoa, look at that big old jump down there. So there's a couple things here. In terms of mindset, it's going to be hard for it to say, you know what, dude, you got to be empowered. You got to be confident. You just need to get over your fear. Forget all that. They don't have time for that, especially in a training session. Maybe before the training session we can. What I'd love, Danny? I invite you for the opportunity for me to coach these guys as a group. Maybe we could do an hour coaching on a Zoom call. That would be a lot of fun. But this is what I would tell these riders, right? when they're on the gate, and when they're on top of the starting hill and they just want to go down the starting hill and start getting used to, the velocity of that starting hill, the intimidation of the speed and the intimidation of the huge jump. I just say this, man. Listen, pedal down the starting hill. Don't I shouldn't say don't, but focus on the jump when you get there. The problem is that they're up on the starting hill and they're thinking about the jump, right? So if you just focus on the jump when you get there, what you're trying to do then is try to get them to reassociate through their eyes so they're in the present moment, so they can focus on going down the hill smoothly and safely and calmly. And then, when they deal with that transition, they're in the present moment to negotiate and navigate the jump. So what I tell my athletes, first time going down the starting hill, man, going down this hill is easy to do. All you have to do is deal with the jump when you get there. You can't do two things at once. You can't jump and go down the hill. And that's what's happening when the ego is starting to fire up and it's in fight or flight mode. There's all of a sudden it feels like there's a bunch of threats because there's a bunch of things going on. Especially for like first timers. People are watching. Male and women. They're sometimes insecure. They're just like, people are watching. I don't want to mess up. They don't want to mess up. They don't want to embarrass themselves. They don't want to get hurt. There's all kinds of different reasons as to why they're hesitant. So they're in this fight or flight mode, and then they're validating reasons as to why they're feeling this way. So that's what you can do. Now, if we work together, I would work on, number one, do any change work that's, working on any mindset limiting beliefs as it pertains to going down that starting hill, figuring out what's their problem. Do they have fear of failure, fear of getting hurt, fear of being embarrassed? Okay. Then we do change work on that. And then secondly, we work on the mind state. Get them to access their ideal mind state so they can operate, not in the state of fight or flight, but more in the state of empowerment, a state of creativity, a state of flow, right? Where their skills will be able to match the context of the situation. That's the state of flow. What other questions do we have? Let's see here. I'm looking. Danny Booby says, boys overthinking, girls hesitant, all are capable. Yeah, man. So, overthinking for what purpose? That's pretty much the question you need to ask them if you want to, pry at it and delve a little deeper, because otherwise, if you were to just say, oh, don't overthink it, they're going to overthink it, right? Like if you tell them don't do something, the unconscious mind doesn't understand negatives. They're just going to do what you told them don't do it, right? Like, don't focus on the pink elephant, right? For the next 5 minutes, all the way to the end of this live video, it's going to be hard. But if I can get you to just focus on my words, that's a lot easier for you to do. Danny says, awesome. Thanks. Yeah, Danny, seriously, hit me up. Let me know. I invite you for the opportunity to work with me. I think it would be really fun. Maybe perhaps we could do a group thing. Jacob James says, how's the new book coming? Man, dude, the new book is awesome. Man, I have an excuse. One of the things is we're actually in the middle of moving. We're in the middle of escrow on a new home. I'm moving out of the city of Del Mar and I'm moving just a little bit north in the city of Carlsbad, still in the San Diego area. And yeah, man, it's as you may know, like buying a new home and moving, it can be stressful. So that's been occupying my time because, dealing with inspections, secondary inspections, we want to remodel the kitchen. So we're shopping for appliances. And yesterday I went to the frickin' mall to check out like a new range for the kitchen. I love to cook. So, but yes, the book is coming along, but I gotta move everything back. The timeline is definitely getting moved forward a little bit. All right, let's get back to you guys. It's not about me. It's about you guys. Let's see here. BMX 2525 and Max Marshall. There's 2 questions left. We're over the hour mark. I'm going to answer you guys. Let's see here. What would you recommend at home exercises, either workouts or practicing for explosiveness out of the gate? Yes, I would keep it really simple. Number one, I would do sprints, right? At home, do sprints, do it in a bicycle friendly area, wear a helmet, have supervision, work on explosiveness, work on getting into the acceleration position, which is pretty much your shoulders over the handlebar grips. And of course, in terms of explosiveness, like, I can't express this enough. You got to work on your core, man. That's going to be the limiting factor in terms of being in the correct position when you do sprints. If you guys are in the correct position, if you guys work on the acceleration position, you guys work on the strength of that position, that's going to help you pretty much increase your potential to deliver any power that you have. Secondly, to work on power, again, doing the sprints properly is one. Number two, you can do plyometrics. Something simple as a quarter squat jump, something like a pogo, a box jump, a depth jump, split squat jumps. Look them all up. Google those. You can easily do those, or check them out on bmxtraining.com. Okay, I have all those exercises on there. They're all, I think if you guys check out the 21-day Faster First Straight program, if you do a 2-day free trial, it will charge after 2 days, but if you guys could check it out within 24 hours and then cancel it, I don't really care. Go check it out, and you may find that it's helpful. And if you do find it's helpful and you guys want to help me and you guys want more help, then keep the membership. It will help you. Let's see. Max Marshall. What exercises can I do to gain power down the starting hill? Okay, so just what I just told, BMX 2525, doing sprints, working on the acceleration position, working on the neurological specific explosiveness through plyometric work. I really think at the end of the day, are you doing those now? Because if you're not doing those now, do those now, please. Do those right after this live feed. Secondly, work on your strength. Are you going to the gym? I don't know. If you guys are going to the gym, then, work on anything that's going to complement triple extension movements, squats, deadlifts, single leg stuff, right? You could do lunges, you could do single legged squats, do Bulgarian split squats. You guys could do single legged step ups. Anything that works on the extension, the triple extension of the hip, knee, and ankle joint, work on that force component, because the limiting factor to power is force. So, and then of course, like if you're an inexperienced lifter, then, hire a strength coach, man. Again, that's part of this personal performance program thing that we were talking about here, right? Hire a coach, hire a strength coach, hire somebody, get someone to help you. If I can't help you, have someone else help you. I'm not offended. Man, cool. Man, I'm feeling it tonight. Who else do we have? JP says the membership is worth it. Boom, Greg is one of our resources. Yes, dude, like when you guys write out your resources, Tuesday night, Coach G is going to help me out. He's going to teach me he's going to teach me something I haven't heard before. Yeah, man. Matt Johnson says, this is great stuff, Coach. It is allowing my son and myself to plot things out. Yeah, man. Absolutely. I think it's important. And it's good for your kid to plan things out, to plot things out, like you said, to plan things out, because you could really use this in any area of your life. I mean, shoot, man. I mean, I got this. This is like my aims in my life, right? These are 8 areas of my life, right? I'm trying to live a high performance lifestyle, man. Okay, so it's taught me to do that. And so, for here I have work and career, relationship, family and friends, health and fitness, fun and recreation, home environment, money and finance, spiritual. This is my own personal performance program that's helping me, to be as awesome as I can, so I can help you guys out, right? Yeah, man. I mean, identifying your resources, identifying your resources is key, man. It's so awesome. You know, man, you guys are getting me excited here. But one of the key things that I do, and I'm starting to have all my athletes do, is practice gratitude, expressing and identifying what you guys have. Because here's the problem, man. Like, the human brain is, you know, we're designed to survive back, you know, millions of years ago. You know, hundreds of thousands of years ago. You know, like, our brain is a 2 million year old brain, 2 million year old brain that is designed for survival. So what does that mean? That means we're always looking for things that are wrong. We're looking for threats. We're looking for things that we don't have. And that automatically puts us into this overthinking state, to where we become ungrateful. We start to look for reasons as to why we're not good enough. We look for reasons why, you know, we can't pull off these goals that we write out, these things that we want, the success that we want. And I think at the end of the day, if you guys can start practicing gratitude, looking for things, looking for reasons why you can do it, figuring out these resources, right? Figuring out what you have as opposed to what you don't have, right? All this stuff really, really, I'm telling you, man, it makes a big, big, big difference. It's made a big difference in my life. It's enabled me to show up here every week, operate from the heart, give you my all. It's awesome. All right, guys, thank you guys so much, man. That was cool. Yeah, guys, let me know in the comments below what you guys want to learn next week. I'm open to anything new. Anything, you know, stuff like learning how to manual and jump and stuff like that. Like, all that stuff is, you guys can find that in videos in the channel of BMX Training. Challenge me, please challenge me. I want to be able, I'm not going to do nutrition because I'm not a registered nutritionist. I'm not going to touch that, but pretty much everything else I'm qualified to do. You guys want to talk about the mental performance mind state, mindset, you know, anything as it pertains to training. I love talking about it. David D. Jacob James says, appreciate you, coach. Thank you, coach. Guys, thank you so much. If you guys are watching this on the replay, I appreciate you guys. It's awesome. I'm grateful for the opportunity to be your coach, and I'll see you guys next week. If you guys have not subscribed to the channel already, do that now, please. And I'll see you guys in the next video, or the next live video. And again, have a wonderful week. Ride hard, train hard, and I'll see you guys soon.